The only reason it catches your attention, Joe, and this is why your hunting role made this important to you, is the amount of healing that is done on this wound almost reminds you of the timeline of the first abduction.
So a few days.
Joe's, it's going on 4 days now. Joe's got a background in fighting. Like he was MMA trained. So he's used to cuts and scrapes, and he's used to seeing the healing process of the body over and over again. So that catches your eye. Like something about that wound, I don't know, it don't sit right with you.
There was a book that both Randy and the most recent victim came across in the clearance section, yeah.
Yeah, I put it there. It's so strange that you mentioned that. Somebody had passed away, and they had donated a large box of different things, and I saw this really interesting looking journal, and I was going to purchase it for myself, but while I was putting the things away, I had cut my finger and got some blood on the side of the book, and I didn't want it at that point, and I really couldn't sell it, so I put it in the clearance bin. I figured maybe somebody wouldn't care that there was a little bit of a stain on it. I think we sold it yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see it today.
Is there any way to track who purchased the book?
We could probably check the footage. We might be able to see who grabbed it.
That would be great.
Sure, let me go get the laptop out of my car.
So not only did this bitch activate the book, she took the fucking laptop home.
God damn it.
Hey, did you, what do you think? The cut activated some sort of curse or something in the book?
Yeah, with these old books, blood is always, in anything really, fucking human blood is a catalyst, so.
She received the jewelry last night. She might have got something the day before when one of the other kids were taken. Give the book a little blood, creatures come out, abduct kids, and you get something in return.
That's not a bad line of thought, yeah. She was the one responsible for bringing the book back to life. In some regard, that's a good line of inquiry. Good job, Special Agent Boyd. Boyd.
Special Agent Boyd. Daniel Boyd.
So a few minutes pass, and Jody comes back in with the laptop. You'll have to follow me, though, because we don't have a good setup up here. We have it downstairs, so.
Okay, take the way.
And she leads you, and she pushes that big rack out of the way that was in the way. And then she goes to the back and moves the shelf that was in front of the door. Takes you downstairs, plugs the laptop in, plugs in the cords, and brings up the security footage. You guys are welcome to look through all this. I don't have time to...
We'll look through this and let you get back. Just one other quick question before we let you go. Have you received any large donations or anything like that in the last few days?
Oh, goodness, yes. Normally, this is a good time of year for us, but this year has just been spectacular. 4 days ago, we got 2 really fancy pieces of jewelry, like stuff that doesn't belong here. I actually couldn't sell it here. I had to take it to a local jeweler to have them give us some of what it was worth so that we could take the money back. Like, nobody's going to spend with that. I couldn't believe it. Like, wow. And then, if that wasn't amazing by itself, last night, somebody left $2,500 just in a donation box.
I just look at Eric a glance.
Yeah. You have that the jeweler's name?
I don't have the name, but I can tell you where I took it.
Okay, that'll work.
And she gives you the name of a local jeweler.
One other question. If the book was purchased perhaps by a credit card, I mean, do you have detailed invoice receipts?
If you can get me a timestamp, I might be able to pull something up from yesterday's sales. I'm going to make some tech use rolls for Eric.
I better be goddamn hacker man for that last one.
It turned out that the book was right on top of the clearance bin, so a lot of people were looking at it. They see the stain of blood, and they put it down.
Okay, how many people actually pick it up?
Yeah.
There are a couple of younger people who pick it up and put it down, but you don't see any marks on their hand after they put it down.
Okay.
Toward the later part of the day, going around like 5 or 6 o'clock, someone does pick up the book. You do see a smudge appear on their hand, but not where the book touched them. She ends up purchasing the book, so you do have a timestamp. You're pretty much able to, with your computer roll that you made, you're able to pull up that information by yourself.
Okay.
You get a name, Amy Maslow, and once you have a name based on her credit card information, you're able to track that back to an address.
We have that address. We head back up. I do track down Jody to let her know that we are done, and thank her for her time.
Oh, it's no problem.
And wish her a happy holiday.
Oh, and a Merry Christmas to you too.
That's not what I said, but okay. All right, before we head over, I am going to take a piss.
Okay.
I'll be...
Sounds good. Joe, why don't we give the viewers an inner monologue while that piss is happening?
Man, it's been in the alley for a while, pissing. what's that? I mean, gee whiz. I mean, we just had a couple cups of coffee. Or is he shit behind a dumpster? It's taking this guy forever. Bet you those damn tacos. They're not sitting right with me either. Oh, man. Oh, shit. What you want, you know.
I was thinking more of the how Joe is handling this whole situation. No, I would not change a thing. I would not change a thing from what you just did. That was gold.
It's inner monologue. Okay, yeah, Eric's not such a bad guy. You know, it sounds like the guy's heart in the right place for a moment. Certainly glad it's an actual supernatural case. I don't know not quite sure how I'd react. Man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
You pull up in front of the house and something's wrong. The front door is broken open. You know how like when someone kicks a cheap door frame that the crown molding just breaks off? That's exactly what happened right now. So the door is open about a foot.
When we get up to the door, we approach cautiously.
You hear a scream.
We approach less cautiously.
You see a woman leaning up against the wall and starting to slump down. She's holding her stomach. She's bleeding.
Okay. I run up. I have wait till Joe catches up to me. I point to the wound on her stomach, have him apply pressure, and the first question asked is, where did they go?
My babies, my babies. She points across the hall, and you see them. There's 3 tiny people, just a little bit bigger than children. They're wearing black bodysuits and completely white masks, like almost like a plastic mask that just has 2 eyes on it. Almost like Vega from Street Fighter, except there's no design on it.
Okay.
I know. What was that Tom Cruise movie where he had the white Vanilla Sky? They're wearing Vanilla Sky masks.
Jesus. That is obscure. Like I saw that movie by mistake. That's how obscure it is.
It wasn't a terrible movie.
It wasn't a good movie though.
If you like watching Tom Cruise do stuff, it was a good one.
Let's not jump down that rabbit hole right now.
You see giant burlap sacks, and you see movement inside the burlap sacks. There's 2 of them.
I want to take a shot from here, furthest away from the bag, at the leg of one of these little motherfuckers.
All right, you take a shot, and the 3 of them scatter. The 2 of them holding the sacks. You can tell that they're taking direction from the one who doesn't have a sack. And that one pulls out 2 knives. They aren't regular like kitchen knives or even hunting knives. They're long. They almost look like metal rods, except they have a sharp edge. Or they're white with red stripes going down them. So they almost look like candy cane.
Okay.
And your shot misses, and he rushes up to you to try and stab you. You're able to dodge the stab attack that comes right at you. And you put your gun dead center chest and pull the trigger at point blank range. And it stumbles back, it looks down, and it gets ready to attack you again.
Alright, well this looks like this is going to be an empty the clip affair.
My next action is to take a shot at him too.
Currently, you're the only thing keeping Amy alive.
Yeah.
Joe's used to wrapping himself up, patching himself up, you know, addressing cuts and whatnot, give him a little extra edge.
I'll give you a bonus. I don't think Randy Couture could be a doctor.
But he could be cold as ice.
But he might know a little bit more than, say, someone who doesn't know.
Maybe a better
anything.
cut man.
Yeah.
Maybe a better cut man.
So she is bleeding a lot, man. You better get her to a hospital and quick. You're putting on as much pressure as you can, and you know that if you move to help, she's gone. You know that for sure.
Can I use a free hand?
You need both hands. No, this isn't all. Let me put it this way: you are using both hands, and you are failing. But you are failing in such a way that you are buying her time.
I keep my eye on the other 2, though.
The one that seems to be directing the other 2 tries to make a feint past you. One of the 2 that are holding the sacks hands off the second sack to the third one and starts to come at you.
Joe is currently behind me, correct?
Right. You could wedge yourself in the door if you want, and then it'd be 2-on-1.
You've seen John Wick. If these 2 little motherfuckers want to get close, I'm willing to entertain them at close range and just depend on my fighting score to hold them off or murder them before they get past me.
Eric's blocking the way and you're down low. You hear a lot of noise. Eric, this is what happens, okay? These guys, it's not that you can't get clean hits, and it's not that you can't defend yourself. It's one of those things where you block and you hit, and then you dodge and you fire. And it's one of these things where you are stopping everything they're trying to do. You knock a knife out of their hand, you elbow one of them right in the nose. You knock them back, you kick them, you trip, and they just keep coming. So it's like you can't put them down, but they're not good enough to hit you at this point.
If there's a loose candy cane knife,
yeah.
I'm gonna pick that up, and that's gonna be my next attack.
Okay, you're gonna try and hit him with the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna make some more rolls. Joe, I'm gonna make another fighting roll for you to see if you can stabilize Amy. You get a good grasp on that. You see the bleeding finally start to slow down a little bit. That's not gonna be enough to get you out of the woods.
I mean, can I still just get a free hand? I need to call an ambulance.
Joe, you stop the bleeding and you start to reach for your phone with one of your hands. Your hands are covered in blood, so it's going to take you a minute to actually get your phone to work. Joe, you use a new phone, don't you?
Yeah.
Touchscreen, right?
Sure.
How good do touchscreens work when you get them wet? So
excellent. It's water resistant.
So your touchscreen here, yeah.
It's water resistant.
Nice try. So that's going to be your action next round. Eric, you're able to give one of these little bastards a kick in the chest that knocks him into the other one. As they fall back, the one of them that seems to be directing the action a little bit more than the other makes a few hand gestures that you don't understand. You get to the knife, you pick it up, and you take a nice, strong thrust and bury that knife all the way through so that it sticks out the back end. The little creature falls back, falls over, rolls on its side, pulls the knife out of its chest, and gets back up.
All right.
And then the three of them look at each other, and you smell peppermint.
Hold my breath.
And they're gone.
Damn it. What the fuck?
What? They dematerialized.
It was one of those things where you're like, is that peppermint? And then as soon as you realized you were smelling peppermint, you noticed they were gone. There's blood everywhere. She's looks like it's under control, but she needs an ambulance quick.
All right, I don't belabor the moment in here. I rush back out to see if I can help. It's Christmas time. I'm sure she's fairly festive. Is there a stapler or anything around?
You rummage through the kitchen. You pull out some drawers. You don't find anything. You find a junk drawer. You find some super glue. You go into the next room. You grab the super glue. You find an office that does have a stapler, and
Okay. All right, I'll run back in. Also grab a bathing towel. I tried to clear the area enough to get the staples in there cleanly.
You can find some whiskey in the kitchen.
I'll use that to clear the area.
You're going to have to hold her down and make sure she doesn't hurt herself even more, because that whiskey is going to sting. You know that too. Like cleaning out a wound like that, that's going to...
All right, Amy, this is going to hurt.
I take a regular rag too and stuff it in her mouth. As soon as she starts to scream, it's going in there. I don't want her to bite her fucking tongue off.
You pour the whiskey on the wound, and Joe... You're a strong guy, and it takes every ounce of your strength to keep her from ripping herself in half. She does her best, but it's just, she's not built for this sort of pain. Eric, you do your best to rip that Band-Aid off nice and clean. You staple it together with about, it's a pretty good cut. So it takes about 12 staples.
Okay. I don't want this to open until the actual paramedics get here. So I would follow up with the super glue.
Okay, you use the super glue. It bonds to the skin pretty instantly. And just for good measure, you wrap a clean towel around it, which quickly soaks. It seems to be that she'll be good enough for the next few minutes to where an ambulance gets here. Which, by the way, Joe, you're finally able to clean your hands off enough that your touchscreen works properly, and you get a 911 call in, calling for an ambulance for a stab wound to the gut.
What I want to do is head back into the children's room. I want to break a window. All
right.
And while he's doing that, I'm talking to Amy.
Okay.
Amy, we're here to help. I'm Agent Boyd. Thompson. I need to know. We need to know where the book you purchased from the thrift store. Those men, little people, they're here because of it. Going to help, but we need the book.
She points to the Christmas tree, and you see underneath the Christmas tree there's some presents that have been wrapped, and one of them appears to be the right side.
Eric?
After I'm done composing a convincing escape scene, I head back into the room. I'm pretty sure I'm within earshot of their conversation, so I would head over to the tree on the present.
During the fight, you did cut these things a lot. Like, it wasn't that you weren't connecting. You know how you have those like old style matchbooks where it's like 20 matches and there's a staple through the bottom of it? You find that through the corner of one of those staples attached to a little bit of cloth is a matchbook that looks like it got caught in the cloth and was cut off during the fight.
Okay, and what's on the matchbook?
Almost an entire matchbook. You find a partial address. It's
I'll
a very
get-
plain matchbook. There's no logo.
I'll deep dive into that once we get the scene secure and are able to move out without blowing our covers.
Do you leave before the paramedics show up?
No, we're all over this place. So I don't want to give them any false leads. So yeah, no, we'll wait for the paramedics and the police to arrive. After his call, I would give Krangle a call to know the situation. At least we'll have someone on scene who already knows who we are.
The ambulance beats the police by a good margin. The EMT steps out and he runs over to the woman and starts looking at her and sees the patch job that you did, and he looks over and he goes, Were you in the service, son?
Let's just say I've been doing this job a little longer than my age would belie.
Well, ma'am, you're gonna have a scar, but this man, he saved your life. He puts her in like a breathing mask and lays her flat on one of those stretchers and put her in the ambulance and take her away.
I'll let the first patrol car that gets here get here first, explain the situation to them, and let them know that we have something to follow up on quickly on the time sensitive, but I do give them a rundown of the situation, the fabricated situation. I can't tell them that I just fought 3 little men and they disappeared into a peppermint smoke. Right, I heard the suspects break a window and flee out the back, but by the time I got there, they had already moved on, and it was everything we could do to get the victim into a place where she was going to lose her life. I take a look at the book first, what it looked like, what's happening with it.
I'm gonna make a hunting roll for you. You can't read it, but you know what it is. You're pretty sure that it's Elvish, like the tiny elves that you would find in Santa Claus's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
You flip through the pages that are soaked in blood, and you see one of them has seeped into the book and has fed into some of the circular designs. So you're pretty sure that that's what activated the ritual. On that page, you can't read the script, but what you can recognize is there are some children who are tied up.
Mm-hmm.
There's another scene where the children are being bled out.
Jesus.
And then there is a third scene depicting a bountiful harvest.
So the thrift store is receiving crap. Does that mean the first 2 sets of kids are dead?
You don't know. You can't read it.
Right.
You are pretty sure that you're on a very tight ticking clock.
Yeah.
As far as the kids that were just taken.
We took Gerald's car. I opened the glove box and pulled out one of his phones. So I'm trying to reach out to Lance.
The old dude who knows a lot about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Lance, I'm glad to reach you. It's Eric.
Whoa, Eric.
Yeah.
This ain't Gerald.
No, you've talked to me before. You helped me before.
Yeah, the young kid with the mom and the fingers, right?
Yep.
All right, what do you want?
Well, I'm caught right in the middle of some pretty nasty business with some little elves kidnapping children, exsanguinating them, and bountiful harvest.
Ooh.
Yeah, we already have at least 3 known cases of children being abducted, and a thrift store where a lady cut her finger on the book that some of these creatures and bled into that spell.
Can you get me some pictures?
Yeah, coming right now.
All right, find the kids. I'll do what I can.
I'll do my best on this end. Clock's ticking. Thanks.
I hear him say, find the kids. How the hell are we supposed to find the kid?
I pull out the matchbook and do my techno wizardry.
You've got it narrowed down to about a block in a rundown part of town. With as good as you are, you can pretty much have a partial address by the time you finish walking to the car.
You do not get to drive today, Mr. Doty.
Shotgun.
No cartridge. You will be riding on the hood. Yeah, we get there as quickly as we can.
The matchbook address leads you to a bad rundown part of town. Let me make some rolls here to see what you notice. Out of the corner of your eye, you see something in a black outfit sneaking close to one of the buildings. You see that it sees you see it, meaning
We've been made.
We don't really have time for caution.
Right when you get there and you pull up, your phone rings.
Okay. I answer, get out of the car, and head to the trunk to get heavier weaponry.
I don't know if this is what you're fighting, but I think it's what it is. I think you're fighting elves. Like, we're talking Shoemaker type elf.
Yeah, I co-sign that. They were little bastards.
This is what I could find on short notice. They're vulnerable to wood, and they're also afraid of people wearing large amounts of red.
Okay.
You've got wooden stakes in the trunk. Let me make a hunting roll. There's something here to see if you notice it or not. Natural 20. Joe, you spot I'm sticking out of the top of a dumpster in a clear plastic garbage bag. It looks to be a pile of thrown away Santa suits.
Of course.
and you're afraid of afraid of people wearing large amounts of red.
Yeah.
Joe just turned to look like cutscene. Santa suits.
They're a little dirty, a little bit stained, which is probably why they were in the trash. But you got Santa suits.
I specifically want one without a stained crotch, if that is possible.
It is
Dibs.
difficult, but not impossible. There's one.
Well, I
grab that.
I call dibs by manifesting. It doesn't exist without me. I can rescind that at any time.
But you know, if he hadn't said anything, they probably wouldn't have had a stained crotch to begin with. Nice going, Kyle.
But they are stained. Like, they're dirty. They should be in the trash.
All right, well, we get suited up, get our stakes out, and head in.
All right, you make your way inside the building. I'm gonna make another roll for tracking here because it did have a little bit of a lead on you. You make your way inside, and it's a hallway with doors. There is a front area with a desk that is deserted. You do notice a basket, like almost like you would put umbrellas in it, except it has baseball bats and hockey sticks in it. And you think you hear some yelling at the end of the room, behind one of the doors.
All right.
You know, I take a baseball bat, a stake in one hand, and bet.
Move swiftly to the door.
Okay, you hear loud yelling from the other side of the door. It sounds like someone crying out in pain, like they're really being hurt.
Is the door tightly sealed?
No, the doorknob is loose. Like you can open the door if you want.
Okay. I first want to open it slightly to see if anyone is at the door.
There's no one at the door, so there's no one blocking the way.
All right. In that case,
Joe, are you right behind Eric?
Yeah.
In that case, I do breach entry.
Okay, like a bust in the door type thing?
Yeah. I know they know we're on them, but we've taken our time. I hope we have a modicum of surprise by just breaking the door down.
Sure, there's going to be a lot of surprise. You break open the door. Cutscene. You hear cries of pain. You bust open the door, and it is a 7-person gay bondage sex party.
Wow.
There's dicks out. There's a guy tied up to the rack. He's the one who's crying out in pain, by the way. He's getting something put inside him that he seems to be enjoying. He hasn't said the safe word yet, apparently, but he's feeling it. Hans, look, we have 2 chocolate Santas come to join the fun. Oh, wait a minute. Fun Santa party was supposed to be only for last night. No matter. Santa, I have been very naughty this year. Have you come to fill my stocking up with coal? Guess how many reindeer I can fit in my mouth? It's more than 2.